Ну что ж, ребята, ты уже стал music producer? Alright. Then in that case, I'm your guy. My name is Ikena, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you all the information I wish I had when I first got into music production. I almost forgot to mention, if you're one of my fans, if you already know who I am and you're part of that Ikena family, this is not the typical reaction video or anything you expect on my channel. This is for people who are wanting to become music producers. So yeah, als je wil volgende Martin Garrix worden, this video is for you. So listen, I'm pissed off because honestly, when I first got into music production, I expect a clear path when you're trying to learn any new skill of how to do something. I want the A, B, C, D, E, F, and by the time I get to F, I'm pretty decent at doing whatever I set my mind out to do. And the thing is, with languages, for example, or with learning other skills that I've learned in my life, I've been able to do that. But music production was one of these things where I asked around, like, guys, I want to get into music production. I went on Reddit, I read on different forums, like, can you give me a step-by-step approach into how to get into music production? No one was to be found, and when someone was to be found, they were like, bro, you've only been doing it for 2 weeks, you shouldn't even be asking. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, it didn't make sense to me, so I thought, you know what, let me create the video that I wish I had a year and a half ago and try to help as much people get into music production, because it ain't easy. For the first 7, 8, 9 months, I was just kind of shooting in the dark, kind of just reaching around, trying to grab this bit of information, grabbing this bit of information, and honestly, you kind of fall into the trap of just watching tutorials, you know, for months and months on end, and not actually creating anything, not actually doing anything. Where you learn you watch a huge tutorial about how to do something, but at your current level, you should rather be focusing on this. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step approach. This video is going to be a bit more, just a kind of brief intro and kind of a outline, so you can be a bit autodidactic. You can teach yourself, and you can do the research based off of the structure that I give you. I will be trying to do a more extensive, I guess, course or more extensive version of this video in the future. So let's get into it. If this video helps you out and you love me at the end of this video, then what you gotta do is subscribe and also check my social media. But if this video doesn't help you out, alors, dans ce cas, je vais pleurer, hein? I'm just gonna cry because that's gonna suck. But it should. I know that it would have helped me out had I created this, or I know that it would have helped me out if I watched something like this when I first started, so I really do hope it helps you out. Alrighty then, the first thing first, you gotta worry about the digital audio workstation. What is that? What is a we call it DAW, by the way, in the music production community. What is a DAW? It's the program that you're creating the music in, the actual program that, you know, you're putting a bit of the piano sound and you're putting a bit of the drums in. It's that. Like, if you were ever 13 years old in computer class like I was, and you were messing around with GarageBand, and you're like, you know, you press this button and this guy goes yo 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 yo. That's it's kind of like that. It's like a program where you actually put a song together, where you can arrange a song, where you can produce a song. Now, in terms of DAWs, there are pretty much 3 big ones, being Ableton, FL Studio, and Logic. And I'll leave links to everything I mentioned in this video. I'm gonna leave a link to, right? But these are the big ones. There are a lot of other ones actually, but for me personally, I've had experience with both Ableton and FL Studio. If you want to know which one I like the best, I'd say I would go with Ableton just because it fits me better and I find it a bit more efficient. But like I said, this video is I'm just giving you an outline of everything you need to do, and from there you can kind of, okay, research what is Ableton, what is FL Studio, what do I like better. But I'll just give you my personal opinion on things as well. I would go with Ableton if you're new, but FL Studio is also a bit sexier. It's like, it's easier to look at, and there's more tutorials on it, so it's up to you. Do the research. But the critical thing is, when you actually get your DAW, whether it be Ableton or Logic or anything, right, you have to master it. You really have to read the manual, you have to look at a lot of guides, tutorials, maybe even buy a book about the DAW that you choose, and really just master it so you know the ins and outs. Now, this is a long process. It's going to take you, you don't have to like become an expert at the piece of software that you get right away, but it helps to know what most of the things actually do in the DAW that you choose. Okay, Eva Lauster and Martin Garrix. Okay, so you want to be the next Martin Garrix. Fair enough. But you only got a laptop. I don't think so. Honestly, you do need either a good pair of headphones or a good set of speakers, aka monitors. Essentially, if you want to be able to produce a song and actually hear what it will sound like reliably and in clarity, you're definitely going to need to kind of invest. And I'd invest in both just because the headphones... Anyways. Because headphones, they provide very kind of clear feedback of what exactly is going on in the track that you're creating, in the song that you're creating. It's very crystal clear, but of course with proper, you know, speakers, you can hear a lot more, and it's just, you can feel the bass and you can feel the lower frequencies and all that stuff. So I definitely would invest in both. Now you will notice a recurring trend on my channel. I don't like to spend a lot of money, so these ones are the Audio-Technica M50X, and these were rated like the best headphones under $200. And also these ones, I believe, are the PreSonus 4.5s, and they're very, very good as well, and also quite cheap. I believe both of them were under 200 combined together, so I got both of them for under 200, I think, on Amazon, but I will leave a link to that below. Man is hot. Alright, so now you know what digital workstations are. You hopefully are going to be investing in a good set of headphones or monitors. But now it comes down to the sounds that you will actually use when you're making music. What you need, and I remember my music teacher very clearly doing this, like he wrote on the whiteboard, high quality samples, because you need high quality samples. So what is a sample? Sample is basically, you know, just essentially a sound. It could be from an instrument, it could be from a vocalist, it could just be a little listen, it's just like a little thing. It could be for example in the song Mask Off, do 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 do, that thing that keeps on repeating, that's just a sample. A sample could be a little kick drum, whatever. And it's very, very, and this damn monitor, this damn... So the reason high quality samples are very important is because let's say you're trying to make a song, right, and everything is structured quite well. The music there is, we'll get into that, but you know, musically it's quite nice. If the samples aren't there, if your kick drum sounds like as opposed to, you know, but it's just, if it doesn't sound good, then it doesn't matter how good your song is musically. If the actual little sounds that you're using to build the song aren't good, it's not going to sound good. So in terms of getting high quality samples, I would really recommend Splice. It's a cool website where I think you pay around $7 per month, and you get, I believe, around 100 samples that you can download. And that refreshes every single month, so you can go into different sample packs, is what we call them, and kind of pick, you know, that little that you like, or that little ding, you know, or with just the different little sounds that you like. If you want to get a few kick drums, if you want to get a few hi-hats or whatever, you can get that, and they're all quality. I know Kashmir loves Splice, Garrix loves Splice, everyone loves Splice, so high quality samples are very important, and I definitely recommend you to get some. So because my camera's not focusing, I'm going to use this time to give you an example of what a sample is from Splice.
Yeah.
Kora, wow, so I have to be this close for you to focus? No one wants to see that, come on. Nani kore? Mo kora, ikanasai yo. Okay, I just have to yell at my camera in Japanese apparently. The next point is VSTs. Now, VST is basically like a plugin that either will replicate how an instrument sounds, or will be what we call a synthesizer. Basically, I'll just give you an example of a synthesizer. Right, so that kind of sound is what basically VSTs are. And in terms of like synthesizers, like, you know, the or the what kind of sound that you would want if you're creating more EDM, the big ones are Silent, Serum, Massive, Inspire. Now I would really recommend, if you're new to music production, to get one and to learn it well, and to mess around with the sounds there, and just because you only really need one to create an actual good track. I've heard a lot of tracks that are made just using Massive or made just using Inspire. You can have really good bass sounds, you can have really good lead sounds, you can have really good little kind of sounds. You can do it all with a synthesizer. But anyways, bruh, if you like more of like a hip-hop producer, then what you need is, well, Omnisphere. Omnisphere is a cool plugin, and it basically has a lot of the sounds that you're very familiar with in hip-hop, and that you can create really dope hip-hop tracks with. Also, shout out to Contact. Contact is another VST, which essentially, it's not really like a synthesizer. You're not gonna get too much electronic sounds out of there, but it's more so for like emulating like a piano sound, or a drum, or a violin, or you know, a cello, or anything like that. Alright, so we covered VSTs. What you have to know is each VST will come with default sounds. So usually it's like a bank of like 100 or sometimes like 300 different sounds that you can kind of scroll through. So you'll scroll through and it's like, one is like, the other is like, the other was like, something like that, right? And there's a lot of debate, like, should you be able to create your own sounds using these synthesizers, or should you just use presets? Honestly, if you're in the beginning stages, I would just use presets until you kind of feel comfortable with sound engineering, but I'll get to sound engineering in a little bit. Alright, so basically when it comes to sounds that you actually need and the software, we talked about it all. Okay, now the next step is music theory. What I really recommend you guys to do is learn the basics of scales, learn the basics of chords, learn the basics of harmony in general, and also how to create melodies. And I will leave videos, kind of introductory videos to everything I just mentioned down below. But it's very important, because honestly, even if you have all the best samples but you don't know anything about harmony, your song is not going to be good. Your song is going to sound like me if I try to sing some Japanese enka music like Sakura, Sakura, Yayoi no Sora wa. That's my favorite Japanese song though. That's Enka's song, but whatever. It ain't gonna sound good. Now I know my voice is amazing, but trust me, your songs, they're not, it's just gonna be like, and you hear that a lot with beginner music producers. They don't know music theory, and then, you know, their songs aren't, they just don't sound professional, they don't sound good. So learn it. Learn it. It doesn't take too long. Just learn the basics, and then it goes a long way. It really does. Next thing you want to really look at is structure and arrangement. So, for example, there's a guy called Max Martin in Hollywood, and he's produced and he's written most of the songs that are stuck in your head since like the 1990s, all the big pop songs. And the way he does it is basically he has a structure. There's a certain amount of time before, you know, a song goes from that introduction to, you know, the first verse, to the chorus, to the drop, to another chorus, to another drop. There's a way to make music, and there's a way to arrange different songs. So for example, if you want to make future bass, or you want to make a hip-hop kind of beat, you need to know kind of how to arrange it. Do you put the 808s, or do you put the boom boom kind of in the first second of the song, or do you do that a bit later? How do you repeat things? How do you make it actually sound like a genuine, like something you would hear on the radio, or just actual kind of music, right? And in order to do that, you need to look in you need to look at structure and arrangement of songs. So I would really recommend you to search into that. For example, for me, I didn't do that until just recently. And this is what I'm talking to you about in terms of me just like having to reach in the dark, because I didn't have someone to tell me, yo, you need to do this. No one told me, yo, Ike, you need to look, if you want to create EDM songs, or, you know, you want to create a song like Martin Garrix, you should look at how he actually structures his songs. No one told me that, so I just recently did it, and my music has been getting a lot better, because I used to like have songs where it's like, okay, 3 minutes in, the drop still hasn't hit yet. And you can be a bit creative with like that, but if you don't know the rules to begin with, you gotta know the rules to break them. You know, if you're breaking the rules without even knowing what they are, hey, ain't gonna work out. Last and finally, okay, you've put a song together, you know, you have a solid arrangement, you've used high quality samples, you use some really cool sounds from the VST of your choice, and you're getting to know your DAW, and life is just good. You know, you're on the beach sipping some martinis and whatever people sip on beaches, because I haven't been on the beach in a very long time, so I wouldn't know. But pina colada? Yeah, maybe pina colada. Может быть, да. Okay, but the point is you've basically got to a level where you can start to actually make some music, but you notice that it doesn't sound like the stuff you're hearing on the radios. It doesn't sound professional. It sounds a bit, you know, weird, a bit quiet or whatever. You have to look into mixing and mastering, and mixing is just kind of, there's a lot in terms terms that you might not know yet called equalizing or compression. It's basically how you kind of make the song sound good. Mixing is usually like 90% of what you have to do to a song to make it sound good, to make sure all the volumes are the same. You don't want the kick drum like do 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 and the actual melody like do 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 do. Mixing is that kind of volume process where you turn things up, you turn things down to make it just sound just right, like Goldilocks, right? But that's the mixing process. Mastering is like that final thing that you gotta do. It's like final destination, 1v1 me, bro. It is the finishing touches of a track. It's like you've mixed the song perfectly, it sounds really good, but now you have to make it loud. Now you have to make it kind of, you know, if you play it compared to a professional song, they're roughly the same volume. That's what mastering is. And mixing, mastering, they're quite important, but you can learn these things later than the other stuff I talked about in the video. And when you want to do it, Google mixing and mastering, read everything about it, and you know, mess around with some tracks. And the more tracks you produce, the better you will get at both respectively, if you want to do both yourself, because you could also hire someone to do it for you, but that ain't fun. So before I forget, there is actually one other thing after mixing, mastering, and sound engineering. It's really kind of focused on how you can go into your VST, like Silent or whatever, and like adjust all the knobs and get the sounds that you exactly want. But honestly, by the time you get to mixing and mastering, I don't even really need to mention it, because you're probably already start to figure out the basics of it. So yeah, you've reached the end of the video. Just to recap, we start off with DAWs. You need the actual program to create the music with. Then we went to, well, you need stuff to hear the music properly with, whether that be headphones or speakers. And remember, I linked everything down below. And after that, we talked about high quality samples, aka you need that boom, that kick drum that just sounds good by itself, or that ah that sounds good by itself. And after that, we talked about, oh, by the way, for samples, splice, very good idea. After that, we talked about VSTs, either Silent or Serum or Massive or Spire, and also Omnisphere and Contact. Those are like the holy six, so I definitely recommend checking them out and choosing the one or two or all of them that you want to buy. After that, we talked about presets. Definitely look up some preset packs for whatever. Let's say you get Silent. Look up some Silent preset packs. Very good idea. See what other people, see what other sounds other people are creating with Silent or with whatever VST you choose. Then I talked about music theory. Really, just learn what scales are, learn what chords are, learn the basics of harmony, and learn how melodies work and how you can create your own melodies, and you're golden. Then we talk about structure and arrangement. How are songs that you hear on the radio or songs that are in the genre you want to get into structured traditionally? Learn them, learn how they're arranged, learn, you know, if the introduction is 4 bars or 8 bars, or how long the drop is. Learn all these things. They will really help you out, trust me. And yeah, lastly, mixing and mastering. So that's it, guys. So I really hope this video helped you. If it did, please give me a like, and please also subscribe. I do music production tutorials. I release my own songs in this. I react to music from around the globe. And yeah, this is just a music channel, so I hope it really helped you out. And I just really hope that it, you know, it gave you something worth of value, and that it can cut away the 6, 7, 8 months that I wasted kind of shooting in the dark and not really knowing where to go. And well, now you have all the information you need to know. You gotta be a bit, you know, resourceful and look up everything I told you, but it's good advice, and I really do hope it helps you. Take care. Sayonara.